Good evening, everybody. Let's see who we got in the chat here. We've got Full Time Dream, Rebecca Homestead, Rebecca Touched by Yarn, uh, Lazy Days Ahead. Hello there. And Ann Dale's in here. We got Treasure Hunter and Petty Jean River Homestead, Treasure Hunter, Linda Peterson, and there you go, full-blown country, already in the house. It's all mine, he says. Well, let's get Ann Dale in here.
Hi. How are you?
Pretty good. What did you get to do today?
Well, let's see. What did I do today? Oh, I wrapped up a ton of gifts. We had a big giveaway yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
And our season for the holiday is if you have love in your heart, give it away. So we had a big giveaway yesterday over here. And I think my phone is probably giving us some feedback. I'm going to turn that off. And so I spent the morning getting packages ready to be shipped out to all the winners.
And that was with Lazy Days Ahead, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Jesse helps me. He's a helper for all of us.
Host.
He's wonderful. And he knows he says, you just handle the chatting, honey. You just handle the talking. I got the backside. Don't you worry about it. So I was like, okay, I can do the talking. That would be okay.
Yeah.
And so it's wonderful to be able to meet you, to actually be able to talk with you the last couple of days. This is really good.
This will be, we've talked quite a bit today, too.
Yeah, that's right.
Today. And we talked about some of your stories that you've told about the dragonfly and the police officer.
That's right. That's right. They're very precious stories. Honestly, what started a lot of me in YouTube and the gardening world and things like that is a little story that is a little Bible story that everybody knows already. I'm hearing a little bitty.
I don't know.
Twang. Let's see. I don't have anything but StreamYard on. My phone is off. So,
oh, wait a minute. Let me make sure that I have everything off.
Let's see.
It's you.
It's me?
Oh, no. I made that mistake last week by saying it was the guest's fault.
We always say it's the other person.
Yeah, it's all your fault.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So
that sounds good to me.
Okay, good. That's great. If it sounds all right to everyone else, sorry, I don't see chat much, Little Ridge Farm says. So what got us started in the Ann Dale homestead? Huh?
I'm sorry.
Little Ridge Farm is here. Would you like to say something to them?
Tell your story, and then we'll go into it because we want some people in here when we say that.
Okay, awesome. So I started my YouTube channel around the end of February, first part of March of 2021. And part of starting the garden and preparing and I learned how to can. I learned how to get things going around the house thank you, Radio Jonesy, so that we could, if something weird happened, we would be able to be okay for a couple of weeks or so, maybe even more. I live on the East Coast. I live about an hour in from the Outer Banks. And we went through a storm in 2000, Isabel, and our area was without current for about 3 weeks, and we were without water for about 2 weeks. So you're camping out in your own house. But thank the Lord, it was during September And so the weather was wonderful. It wasn't miserably hot. And the National Guard came in and so forth. But I saw where I had some weak spots in my preps. So we started doing that. But there's a little story that everybody already knows, but it's about the man that was in his house and the flood water started coming and they started coming up the steps and people in a uh, uh, came by in the car and said, "Now look, you need to leave. You need to leave your house." And he said, "No, I'm okay. The Lord's going to save me." And then it came up the steps and it started coming in the house. And a rowboat came by and said, "Come on, man, get in the house, get in the boat, get in the boat. We got to go." And he said, "No, no, the Lord's going to save me." And the water came up and got all the way up to the roof. And he's sitting on top of the roof, and a helicopter came by and said, "Come on, man, you got to go." He said, "No, no, the Lord's going to save me." Well, sure enough, he drowned. And he got up to the pearly gates and he said, "Lord, I thought you were going to save me. I had all the faith in the world." And the Lord said, "Look, I sent you a car, a boat, and a helicopter. What else did you need? You got to do something for yourself." So,
I knew where that story was going, and I think I've heard something like that before, but that was good. You said that good.
I don't ever want to be the man sitting on the roof. I want to do something and take those opportunities that come as they come.
Uh, Cindy Squirrel off grid is here.
Hey, nice to see you. There are some new friends that are here. People, I always say they're friends that I haven't met yet. No judgment here with Tish, Cindy from Squirrel Off Grid,
That
and I know Dirt Road Destiny, and of course my Jessie from Lazy Days Ahead with Jessie and Lisa that I dearly love. I'm friends with Drew's Lens, and Lindsay Scott is new. Yay, I'm glad you're here. Rebecca, Touched by Yarn. We talk on the phone regularly, which is wonderful. So I'm glad to see all our new people. J and B, hello to all.
No judgment here is full blown country Pooch's wife.
There you go. Yep, you were talking about Tish the other time, and how good she is, and what a good friend they both are. So that's good.
She's going to be my co-host one of these Wednesdays soon.
Oh, that'd be fun. I need my security blankets. I can tell you, I got some co-hosts that come on my lives on Tuesdays. I have a live at 11 in the morning Eastern time, and I have my little security blankets that come and stay with me. Take care of the technical woo whammies.
Yeah, I don't want to bore people with the dyslexia thing, but I need to have somebody in my live with me.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta read just fine, but I can't keep up with this flickering. When it flickers like that. Tree Haven's in here. Hello, Tree Haven.
Hey, Tree Haven.
Saying hi.
Heather.
You're gonna do it to me. I know you're gonna get me talking that twang stuff.
Now, as far as a Southern drawl, I'm not considered. People that live in this area don't think I have a Southern drawl. They think that I speak like I'm from someplace else. They go, "Where were you raised? Because you don't talk like the rest of us." You go, "Well, my daddy was in the Coast Guard, so we did move all over the world, and you talk like your parents talk." But recently, our son has married a fine young woman that I adore. They've been married for several years now, have 2 little girls, and they moved up to Hyde County, which is very high-titers, but they say Hyde, night, and right, and all of those kinds of things. And so now to hear my son say, "How y'all doing? Is it all right if we come by?" Like, okay, boy.
Do you hear that yourself? Do you hear it in your own voice?
I don't hear it in my own voice.
I would guess you wouldn't.
And it's so weird because when I was in high school, I would travel I was in the DECA club and the drama club and all these clubs, anywhere that could get you out of town or go on trips. I was in those clubs. That was when schools actually took students around the world. And whenever I would say I was from North Carolina, people would go, North Carolina, I hear it. I'm going, what? What are you talking about? That's crazy.
Well,
And
that's,
Linda Peterson says I don't have an accent at all. That's good.
and my mother's side of the family, a lot of her aunts sounded like that, only it was like a softer tone.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the same. It was the same, just softer.
Right. Right.
And maybe that
Well,
you're just more excited.
yeah,
You sound excited about life all the time.
it is. I mean, what's the alternative, right? Good to see you, Brian and Ann. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. Now, Heather, you have been in my lives before. Heather, I recognize your name completely. And so, oh, you're saying it's nice to meet Brian. Isn't that nice? That's good. I'm so glad.
I mentioned well, I hope they didn't leave before I mentioned them in the beginning, but I actually have neighbors.
Yes.
Neighboring YouTubers. I couldn't believe it. I was watching Back Road Freedom and in one of his lives, and one of the people in the chat said that they were where I live. They're only like 15 minutes away from me.
Wow.
And they're into RVing, and they do a lot of product reviews and stuff related to RVing and camping and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. And I haven't really got a chance to investigate it all that much yet, but I will be. I mean, I've been talking about everybody's down south. I'm up here by myself, and I finally got somebody that's right there.
You need to make it happen. You need to make it happen. Now, what is that channel's name again? I'm sorry.
That was something dream. It's a full-time dream.
Okay. All right. Full-time dream. Well, yeah, if they're 15 minutes away, I'll go have a cup of coffee or something sometime. Although I do have
15 minutes away. It could be even closer.
there is a young girl that does live out in the county here in our county, probably 20 minutes from me. She's an artist. Hey, Krubby. And we haven't met yet either, which is unusual that I haven't met anybody that's so local that, so that would be good. So did you want to talk about your friends or?
Yeah, I did want to mention Mark from Little Ridge Farm. He's been he's come on some really hard times. He was already having trouble physically with medical issues. And this Saturday? Sometime this week, his house burned down.
Oh, that's so sad.
I left or pinned up in the top of the chat is the video where he explains everything that happened. And if anybody is willing to help out in any way possible, in that video are options on how you can help him, such as Home Depot gift cards so that he can buy materials to rebuild. Any help would be appreciative, and please go check that video out so you can know what's going on about him.
Yes.
I had him as a guest about 4 months ago, just like you are a guest right now.
Yeah.
And it's terrible when people are going through. I hate to see people in pain.
Absolutely.
Physically, which he's suffering with both.
Oh my gracious.
So please go give him some love on his channel. If anything, and if you can't give anything, put his what do they call that? The playlist on and run his channel. Just
run his channel.
And
certainly prayers are
monetized, so that could help out a lot too.
He is monetized?
He is monetized.
Awesome. Okay, good.
Um,
Hey, Raptor Ranch.
over
They're
there
new here.
the best you can. And I appreciate
Yes.
that.
Oh, Little Ridge Farm says thanks. We
No,
do care about you. You have been in our community. Of all the friends that I have out here, have mentioned you many times. We don't have a personal relationship, you and I, Little Ridge Farm, but I do go over and watch some of your videos, and I wish the very best for you. And I know this is a hard time, but I'm telling you, the Lord's going to surround you, honey. There's things that are coming that are good that are coming your way. I'm sure of it.
yes, and remember that video is up in the top. I hope it's still pinned up there.
I'm pretty sure, but I can't see it on the StreamYard chat. And I had it on my phone, but my phone was giving a little bit of a feedback there, so I turned it off.
Well, at any rate, Lazy Days Ahead posted it again.
Awesome. Good. Well, fires, they're so devastating and really cause a lot of PTSD for people oftentimes. But I know that if I can feel the love for them and I don't even know them, they have got to be able to feel it surrounding them by our community and like-minded people that are really concerned for them.
Yes, and when I was talking to him, when we did our live together, he was showing me all the stuff that he did in that house.
Oh.
And how they had, I mean, they lived in the I guess a shed. It was a shed that is still a shed now. That's where he has his tools and everything. He still has that, at least.
Thank goodness.
Has his materials that his tools, so he can rebuild. But at any rate, he lived in that for a while he was building that shed to house. And I don't know that he was in it that long.
Well, man, it's hard to start again, but maybe there was something that, as long as there's life, they didn't lose life, and that's everything else can be replaced.
His daughter was somewhere else, and he was.
Hey, Paul Honeymoon.
Left somewhere. I don't know where he left to, but he was gone, and then he got a phone call. And
oh, goodness.
So please, everybody go check out that video so you know what's going on and do what you can.
Yes. And I have.
Can't run his channel. Run his channel to death.
There you go. That's right.
So now, don't do that. Now I just said that. Now.
I told you, Southern draws are contagious. They are contagious.
By the time this live is over, I'm going to be speaking full Southern drawl.
You're going to be speaking Andale. I think that's hilarious.
I do that because I was just telling you before we went live that I'll be talking to somebody in less than 10 minutes. I'm sitting there mimicking them without even knowing I'm doing it.
Right.
It's put me in some bad positions sometimes. Somebody has a speech impediment.
Oh, gosh.
I'm sorry. I had to actually apologize to somebody.
Oh, gosh. Well, you just have to be cognizant of it, and you were, and so it's all good. So, what are you all planning for the holidays this holiday season, this Christmas season?
Well, my nephews that live in North Carolina are going to be coming up to visit.
Cool.
They're from the Mooresville area.
Okay, the western part
area. And they'll be coming up on the 1st of January, I believe, and staying for a week. So we'll be all together after Christmas.
Yeah.
Actually, after New Year's, but
we
never celebrate on the same day anyway. So it doesn't. We've always celebrated on an off day.
I think that's why they call it a season, because we have a season. It's not, and we all know that. I mean, the Christmas day might not be the specific day that there's a birthday, and but we just commemorate that and celebrate. So that's okay.
It was just like Thanksgiving. We celebrated it on Saturday. And we
Okay.
got together and we cooked our meal and we enjoyed ourselves and it was good.
Well, isn't that nice? That's good. So, I understand and know from your videos and so forth that you have a vineyard.
Yes. 36 acres of it.
36 acres of vineyards.
Yeah. It's 67 total. I mean,
Wow.
beyond the grapes.
Yeah.
Total.
And so, I mean, I would think that in your region, in your geographic region, it would be difficult with the weather and things to grow grapes in your area, but it's not.
Grape belt. This is the grape belt. Starts. It's all along the whole lower part of Lake Erie.
Okay.
Yeah, all the way up there towards, well, not up towards Buffalo, but south of Buffalo, and all the way into like some into Ohio, I believe. Yeah, it would be in Ohio. Well, yeah, maybe even
Okay.
Ohio. There's a lot of wineries along that lake. A lot of wineries. I mean, I don't think you could drive 5 miles without there being another winery.
Oh, let's see. Brian, careful. Anne does like a tipple of grape juice. Well, I don't know about that, but occasionally I will have a glass of wine. I sure will. I will do that every once in a blue moon.
Okay, I want to say something to Rebecca Touched by Yarn.
Okay.
She just got her PayPal set up. If you want to write a little bit of something, Rebecca, so I can put it up on the screen. I mean, we'll touch on it again when we have an open mic and I'll have you on and you can talk about it. But why don't you give them a little gist right now, if you would?
Yeah.
Because there's so much for making hats for special causes.
Let me get mine. Yep. I've got.
Oh, and I don't have mine out here, but Papa's is out here. Oh, you got a red one. I got a blue.
I have my red hat, and I have some other teal hats. There's my hat, my Rebecca hat.
What you're wearing for the night.
And a cloth and a pot, a hot pad. And she's just amazing and wonderful. And she buys all that yarn herself, ships everything all over the place. That is her ministry. And I adore her and appreciate her giving heart. And she has set up a PayPal that is connected to her channel now. And we have figured out a way that she can accept donations. So, you know, if you're so inclined, or, you know, often when we're on lives, she will say, "Hey, I got some hats," or "I want to donate a washcloth or a pot mat," and she just does it. And so I see Jesse's got her PayPal linked in there. That's sweet, man. That's awesome, Jesse and Lisa. Yay.
Or when she says, "What is your favorite color?"
Right.
I don't know how many lives I've been in, and she says, "What is your favorite color?"
She asked me in one of my lives. Yeah.
First live, and she was already asking me about my color.
Yeah. She said, "What is your favorite color?" And I said, "Are you talking to me? If you're talking to me, I like teal," which is so cool.
Like, what? Because they don't get it. They haven't been in the lives to know.
And I thought, what in the world is she talking about? What is my favorite color? So
yeah, I've had some people asked in my live, the guests that I have, and I say, "You getting a hat?"
Oh my gracious.
And it's going to be there soon too.
Yeah, she is the little wizard she is touched by yarn. That is for sure. And that is her ministry, her given heart. And she does that sometimes to her own detriment, where she will spend the money for the yarn and the shipping and make sure she wants to be sure that everyone gets a color that they like, or something that's in the season, or something like that. And I just love that about her. She's very, very, very kind and generous.
To help out with the shipping and the materials that she uses. She's not looking to get rich off this situation.
Oh my gosh. No, she's still in the red. Like most of us are on YouTube. Still in the red. Oh my gracious. But well, I did bring a couple of things to let people know a little bit about what my channel is about. Excuse me. I am someone that I'm a fairly new gardener. We only started we've had 3 years. And so it was 2019 when we had our first garden. We doubled the size in 2020 and then added another section in 2020 I started, because 2021 we doubled it. 2022 we added a whole nother third to it. And if we had our druthers, we'd have the whole backyard would be a garden.
Well, we probably will.
Yeah, it may end up that way. I don't know. But let's see. Okay, just Paul Honeyman says, no need, Jesse. I was making sure to spread the word for Rebecca also. That's awesome.
Perez.
Road Destiny says that I have a beautiful garden. Hey, Juan, I'm so glad you're here. I hope that you have spoken to Grace and Fire, because he won an ink pen from Grace and Fire on my live yesterday. And she is so touched by his story and thrilled to be able to make contact with him. And so he's going to get a custom pen, even though it is not a custom pen giveaway, because he's special. Anyway, on the garden.
Hello there.
This year, for the first time, I really thrive by having the garden being really neat and tidy everywhere. I mean, my house is a disaster, but the garden looked great. And now my husband wanted us to leave the leaves this year, to let them stay in the garden, because it holds moisture and keeps the roots better and all these things. And it's driving me crazy. I can't hardly work in the garden this fall because I need to get my broom out there and sweep those leaves away. But it has taught me how to preserve things from the garden, because gardening is work. It is work when you have a garden. I enjoy it. I love it. But you do put your heart and soul in those things. And so I don't want anything to go to waste, I want to make sure that I use everything that we possibly can. And so I've learned to preserve tomatoes, to preserve collards, to preserve okra and pickles and cucumbers are pickles, but onions and the garlic, and we have cabbage. That's the only thing, y'all. Who knows how to preserve cabbage other than sauerkraut?
Because Rochester, New York, Drew. Excuse me. He just kept asking that question. I wanted to answer it.
Hey, Pelt Luke, good for you. So who knows how to preserve cabbage other than sauerkraut? Although my husband would probably love sauerkraut. But we have cabbage steaks, and we have boiled cabbage, and we have coleslaw, and we have all these things in the cabbage. That's the only daggone thing I can't figure out how to can. Hey, Tiny Tim Posey. I'm glad to see you. But I have learned to can, which is wonderful. Hey,
backwoods mindset.
Backwoods mindset. Hello. So that has been fun. But honestly, I enjoy growing tomatoes the most. And we have tons and tons and tons of tomatoes usually in the garden. I put all my cabbage in the garbage. Oh, no. Oh, no.
You'll have to check his garden out sometime.
That's right. We don't have animals to feed. We don't have farm animals here, but
He had some woodchucks.
I have wild animals. I do. We have a lot of wildlife that comes up. We have a creek in the backyard, and we have Canada geese and wood ducks and mallards and blue herring. We have a nutria that's got to be at least 25 years old. The leaves are great compost, and cabbage is great for canning and also for storing in the root cellar, which I don't have for later use in the wintertime. Great for canning. You can can cabbage. Really? Because I figured cabbage would just turn to a big thing of mush. I don't know, but I'm going to check that out. Have a great night. Good night. No
Good night.
judgment.
Tish.
Good night, Tish. I'm glad you were here. And so I brought a little something that not everybody might do. These are my dehydrated tomato skins. So when you can your tomatoes, usually I either threw the tomato skins away or composted tomato skins or something like that. But now, let's see, I don't let no Canadians round these parts, geese or not. These colors don't run. Oh my gosh, Bruce, you're crazy. Um, and so I dehydrate the tomato skins. And then when I cook soups or roast or anything, it can be used as a thickener rather than flour. And it adds such a wonderful flavor to it. That was something new that we discovered being able to do.
Wouldn't that be a gluten-free option?
Gluten-free option for flour.
Act like flour?
Yeah, it does.
I
I
mean,
put a couple tablespoons in there and it really does thicken it. It thickens it up. So it's a great gluten-free if you're on that keto. Isn't that funny that I call it that keto? It's like the Walmart or the YouTube. But yeah, I can do it. I do it. I do it with other things or ferment them with cauliflower and broccoli. Well, Linda, I'm going to need to research that because we have some cauliflower and broccoli growing out there right now. You have a channel, Lindsay Scott? Sherman's Family Farm wants to know. Granny Lana, I'm glad you're here. Oh gosh, now we're getting ready to start a Canadian war here. I don't know if keto is gluten related or not. It is Belt Loop 29, Gary. No sugar, no flour, because you can't have bread
it sucks so bad.
of any kind. No potatoes, no rice.
Oh, I would assume die. I would
Isn't it?
eat it until I was dead.
It was just I don't think I could make it more than a week, and you got to be on it for a long, long, long time.
I could handle going on a high high protein diet, like Atkins for a while.
Yeah,
But after a while, I'd be like gnawing on a loaf of bread.
right. I'm not even a bread person. I'm not really. It's not one of my. Let's see. It's how you use it, Andale Homestead. Okay, yeah, it is how you use it. All right, great. I'm not a bread person normally. Like when you go in restaurants and they have these wonderful big rolls. That's not the first thing that I reach for, unless there's a time in my life when I'm not supposed to have them, and that's all that I crave all the time is bread. It's the craziest thing. I don't eat sandwiches. So very cool, and you rock. Thank you, sweet Gary. You rock too, honey. You rock too.
Let's take a moment to talk about Lindsay Scott for a second.
Okay.
Lindsay Scott is going to start her own channel.
Oh,
She's already got like 86 subscribers and she doesn't have a video out yet.
are you kidding me? Sounds like Rebecca.
Yes. I don't know what her number is right now. Maybe she can leave that in the chat. But she wants to get a handful of videos out, and then she will be starting that channel on the 1st of January, I believe, and I have her scheduled for the 11th, Wednesday, the 11th of January.
That's fabulous.
That could fluctuate. I mean, if she needs to change it, that's fine. We set it. We put that date, and we'll work with it the best we can. But that's what our plan is.
That's terrific. And she's very smart to get several videos ready.
You know, I was just hearing about that. I was watching some, what are those tutorials on YouTube, and they said never start a channel with your first video. Get yourself like somewhere between 5 and 10 of them and put it out when you start your channel.
Yeah. Just a little at a time. And it does relieve the pressure because, you start out and you try, well, for one thing, everybody stinks when they start. I mean, let's just get this out in the open.
I love my stinky first start.
You do.
You laugh every time I see it. So
I'm so embarrassed.
Don't be. Everybody sucks. Everybody's first video sucks.
I didn't know how to edit. All the goof ups were in there. It was just, or if it happened like in the first quarter of the video, I would just start all over again. It was terrible. It was really bad. And
I did one of those sit down at the desk, just like you see me right now. I sat down at the desk and I spewed out what I was going to plan on doing for my channel, and it was about 4 minutes long. It was really uncomfortable looking. Even my dog was, the windows behind it was daylight, and the daylight went down.
oh gosh.
How long it took me to do a 4-minute video.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I still stink after 4 years. It's all good. Backroad Freedom says that's not true. That's not true. Oh goodness.
Pretty comfortable with the camera.
Yeah. Well, it tells me I don't know. I don't know Lindsay Scott very well at all. I don't know her. But if she already has, someone put up there, I think it was Paul Honeyman, 87 subs, then she already has a ton. She has built a relationship
Yes.
in this community. So she has friends that will support her. And nobody worries about your,
And she's
goofing
very
up.
supportive. She's very supportive of others in her local community of YouTubers, and probably more. I don't know, but I would assume she probably is. She's always been very sweet to me. Every time I'm talking to Drew, she's always in the background giggling about what I said or what.
Oh my goodness. Well,
I
I think
love.
it's very evident. That's a real telltale sign that someone already has that. I mean, my goodness, when I first started, I had already had a relationship with a whole bunch of people too, and a whole bunch of channels, but I didn't have 87 subs before I started. I can promise you that. And that's just a real testament that she does make relationships well. And so that's awesome.
Well, she participates in every live I've ever been in, and it seems like she's always there. So yeah, she's earned her credits. That's for sure.
Belt Loop wants somebody to post a link for her. So Lindsay, I just subbed. Granny Lana says, "That's wonderful. That's great." Okay. Oh, good. Backwoods Mindset just posted.
She's the first one that's monetized before she gets her first video out. I'm already monetized.
Well, it'll be hard to get 4,000 watch hours without a video. We do have to say that.
I don't even have a channel yet.
She needs at least a short. She needs something for like 30 seconds. Done and done, Gary says. That's good. So, do you grow a garden other than your vineyard?
Okay. For the first 25 years that we've been here, we've had fields of tomatoes and pumpkins and squash and
Oh, well, you have farms.
that stuff. I mean, we're talking acres.
Yeah. You,
That's
you're-
So, when the fruit stand closed, probably about, I don't even know, probably 12, 13 years ago. Well, that's not true because we had our cherries. It got to the point where all we were open for was cherry season. And
okay.
then we would do some wholesale on some grapes for other fruit stands and stuff those last couple of years. But the stand's been closed for a while. Now, all we do, and you can see that in our videos, like last year and this year, we did some container plants,
Okay.
such as tomatoes and peppers. And did we do some squash? We did some squash this year.
You can do a lot in containers.
But it was like this year it was only like 7 containers. Last year it was probably 30 containers. So
Oh, gosh.
next year we'll have 1 tomato
See,
plant
you're getting,
out roasting on the table or something.
you're shrinking and we're expanding. So, but you've been doing it quite a few more years. So, what you had before was a farm, and you cut.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was.
You're
It was
cutting it. Yeah, that's different. That's different than a garden. That's for
when
sure.
we first moved here, we had this fruit stand hopping. I mean, it was 7 months out of the year straight with produce, and most of it coming from our property. Now, we would go to the Buffalo market and get plums and stuff, which are not the easiest to grow in this region. Or, if you're going to grow plums, you better have an orchard, and we just didn't get into that.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't have to.
Farmers, there were certain farms that you would get certain things from. Bar Run Forge is in here.
Hello, Bar Run Forge. I'm glad to see you.
He's on tomorrow night at 6:30 Eastern, so 5:30 Central, I believe.
Oh, Growing with Hudson. Hey, sweetheart. She
Well,
is
Stones Ranch made it in, even though he's off having fun.
12 Stones Ranch.
He must be in the middle of the
Byron.
concert going,
Is he at a concert tonight?
that's what I understand.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I'm so
And
glad. He's such a fine young man.
Full Blown Country well, actually, Byron visited Pooch, which is Full Blown Country, on Sunday, and they called me on Messenger. So we did a live chat, and that was a lot of fun. For about 4 hours, we were really talking. Even Maddie showed up. Maddie showed up for about a half an hour, but he was working on prep for painting.
For paint.
One of his friends.
And he needed some company. Is that it?
Well, I called him and he answered. So we were all sitting there laughing and joking about stuff. I would love to do a live with that group.
That would be fun. That would be fun. Yeah. Now, my buddy in here, Growing with Hudson, is less than, I think she's around 17 subs away from her next goal. And she's doing very well. You want a deal? That girl is a shopper. She can find you some deals at Kroger and deals on coupons and all kinds of things. Please explain your video title, The Sheriff Saved My Life. Oh, J&B, I'll be glad to. I'll be glad to do that. So if you don't mind, Brian, I can tell that story.
The policeman story?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I asked you to do it.
Yeah, well, J&B asked me to do it also. There are a number of people that have already heard it, but it's always so precious and sweet and dear to my heart. So back in 2008, or in November, around November 8th, I was working as a real estate agent, and I had come down with the swine flu. And I had chronic bronchitis, pneumonia. Most of my life, I've had allergies and lung issues anyway. Thank you, J&B. And so I was better during the week, but I was sick on the weekends. I don't know how that happened. So there was a time on a Friday evening, my family, which were my husband and two children, they were both living in the house at the time, and our two big dogs, our German short-haired pointers, uh, took off. We were all invited to go to Lake Gaston to go see my Auntie Peg and Uncle Wayne. Well, I had to work the next morning. And so if I felt better and right after work, I only had to work half a day, it's just a couple hours drive, I was going to join them on Saturday afternoon. So very rarely am I ever in my home alone, especially without the dogs. I mean, I can't really even think of a time that I was alone in the house before that. And I woke up about 3 o'clock in the morning and I couldn't get any air in. I was having a severe asthma attack. I couldn't, I could get air out, but I couldn't get any air in. And I knew it was bad. And it happened to be cold. I tried to run outside. That didn't help. I tried to run into the bathroom to turn on the hot water. That was taking too long to get any steam. I knew it was bad. And I called 911 because I was afraid that I wasn't going to be able to drive myself to the hospital. I didn't want to injure anyone else on the way. And so I was talking to the 911 operator, and during that time, I continued to not be able to get any air in. Even though I was talking, it was like trying to breathe through one side of a stirring straw. You know, the ones with the little itty bitty teeny tiny holes. I
Tiny.
couldn't get any, yeah, I couldn't get any air in. And I began to pray and I began to talk to the Lord. And I said, please forgive me of my sins. I don't want to leave my family yet, but your will be done. And please forgive me. I love you. And whatever you choose, that's what's going to happen. Well, in the meantime, when I had called 911, there was a deputy sheriff. His name is Ken Townsend. I nicknamed him my godsend rather than Townsend. And he had gotten the call and he said he was sitting at a stop sign waiting for this ambulance to come that wasn't coming. And he was waiting and waiting, and he heard a voice say to him in the car, you need to come ahead. You need to come on. And he thought, well, okay. So he came on to my home. And by the time, a deputy sheriff's job is not to rescue someone, not to be in the rescue process. His job at that time was to uh, accompany an ambulance that was coming to your home. He was trying to make it safe for them. He was going to make sure that the yard was okay, everybody was safe, and all these kinds of things. Well, he got to my house, and he could look through the glass doors in the den, and he saw that I was slumped over and white, and I was already gone. And he broke into the house. Now, had my dogs been there, it would have been something that held him back because they were big and protective over me. He happened to be an African American. He looked different than I did. We didn't know each other from Adam, I can promise you. But he came in, did CPR, and brought this earthly body back to life. Well, that deputy had never had to do CPR before in his whole life, not in his entire career. But guess what? The Lord did. He had him in a CPR class 2 weeks before I needed him to know what to do. So when he walked in the door, he had already listened to the Holy Spirit to bring him to my house. He had been in a CPR class. The dogs weren't home. All these miracles that were happening. And okay, so he gets me breathing a little bit. The ambulance is still not here. It didn't come for like 10 minutes after he got to the house. So I would have been long gone. It would have been too late. And he picks up my phone. And at the time, we had no cell phone service hardly at all here in my living area, right around my neighborhood. And I had a lock on my phone, on my cell phone. You know how you have to type in your code? Well, he didn't know who I was. He didn't know, he knew the address, but he didn't know any of these people that lived in this home. And he picked up my phone and the lock wasn't on. And he was able to call the last person that I had talked to, which just happened to be my daughter, who was at Lake Gaston, that also has zero cell phone service at the time and turns her phone off at night. And here it is, 3:30 in the morning, and her phone rings and she's able to speak to my godsend and understand that her mother needs her. And so she gets the family and they're coming back to Edenton to be able to be with me to help with arrangements and so forth. So when the officer came into the hospital, he said, "Ma'am, you and me, we got to get married now, what we just went through, you and me." So he's been my hero all this time, ever since then, my godsend. And I love him very much. But unfortunately, he was such a young man at 47. He passed away. He passed away at 47 from a heart attack, which is what I had had as well. When I had that severe, when you can't breathe, your organs shut down. I had a minor heart attack, and but he had a major heart attack. And when I went to his celebration of life, I was all to pieces because here I am, older, and why a young, wonderful, contributing young man was taken so soon. And I told one of his family members, I said, "Look, I feel so bad. I should have been there for him. I should have been able to help him." And they said, "Honey, we can't question God's plan." And he already knew what was happening. He had already set all these things up. So it's not up to us. We might be surprised, but he never is. And so that gave me such hope and such things that there's so many miracles that go on with that story. And I didn't mean to take up so much time telling it, but
No problem. I wanted to hear it.
it's just such an amazing time that the Lord worked so well. And I'm good. A heart attack didn't do any permanent damage. I've got the asthma under control. All the lung issues are better. But, God was definitely involved. Howdy from the prairie. Hey, corn-fed life. So, amen. God is good. That's a little about me. That's kind of the stories that I tell. And it's all true. Every bit of it is true. Most of the stories I do tell are true life stories. So, all right, Mary Jemison, good to see you. Thank you, Byron. I appreciate that. Backroad Freedom. I'm glad. I mean, there are little differences in the story each time, and I probably could have shortened it up to just give you the highlights, but there's every bit of it is so important. All the miracles that happen.
Do that justice.
And it just blows me away that he heard that voice. The dogs were gone. He had a CPR class 2 weeks before. I mean, it was a refresher, but he never had to use CPR before, ever. The phones worked, the whole 9 yards. There are not coincidences, I don't believe. I think that they are things that are planned most of the time.
You are definitely a storyteller. And she's got another story that I'm not going to ask her to tell.
Yeah, no.
Marcia, what is the title of the video that has it in it so people can go check it out if they want to?
Oh, well, it's my dragonfly story, but the and that's a true story as well. That was where God was so powerful in my life at that time. Um, it is called He Told Me To. He told me to. Yeah, it was destiny, sweetie. Sweet growing with Hudson. Well, that's a story to share. It wasn't your time. He wasn't working with the angels. I'm so glad you're here. I'm glad he's gone to a better place. And when I went to his celebration ceremony, oftentimes funerals are so sad. And he was so young, and there were some people there that were terribly sad. But the theme of the whole funeral was, yes, a saint has made it. Woohoo! High five! We'll see you in a little while. That's what it was all about, and it just did my heart good being able to be there.
I want to say one more little thing about Little Ridge Farm. I see
Yeah.
that people have been subscribing to his channel.
Awesome.
That's great. Make sure you leave a comment on one of his videos, especially the video that we're talking about. When it's pinned at the top, leave a video or a comment and like it and watch it so that your subscription sticks, and watch the heck out of that channel.
Yeah.
Watch it.
And
get an old phone that you don't use anymore, bring up YouTube, and just put his playlist on and play it.
Yes. And now one little clue too, because it has to have a little bit of volume. So I'm told it has to have a little bit of volume. But what I do is I get my earbuds, my headphones that plug in, and I plug it into the old phone and turn on somebody's playlist. And so it has volume in those headphones. And he said so, Dragonfly Story. Thank you, Jesse. He put the link to the Dragonfly Story in there. And Paul, he was called home, and he was ready because he was a willing soul. And I think that was.
Check it out.
I had that old sweet Lord. I can tell you. Before that, I didn't have a relationship. Really, truly, didn't know like this with Jesus. I mean, I knew who he was. I liked him. He was fine. Everything was good. I knew he was all powerful, but I wasn't in a personal relationship with him like I am now. And
BFF?
Yeah, I'm BFFs with him. So that was better. Hey, Mary, thank you, honey. That's very sweet of you. I appreciate that a lot.
Yes, everybody go subscribe to Ann Dale's channel, Ann Dale Homestead.
Ann Dale Homestead, yeah. Yep, they're saying he said so.
Just on and run it.
Yes, please.
She has a lot of fun stuff going on. I saw them dancing in front of the church. The ABCs.
We did that. That was at the Soil Family Expo. But this last time when we went to the Gulf Coast meetup down in Florida, I drove down there and I went down to, I can't remember the name of the town, Milton, Florida, now for Gulf Coast meetup, Homesteaders meetup. And I went with Black's Tropical, and we all did a dance together. And yeah, it was fun. It took me a week to get over that weekend, I could tell you, though, because we were dancing the whole time, and this body was like, man, I am tired. Oh, Little Ridge Farm said it was a hard video for me to do, especially live. I'm sure, honey. I'm sure that was tough. But we gather strength from our friends. We gather strength from each other, and we can share our strength with you to be able to know that our love and prayers surround you. And I think that, to me, it was I almost got arrested, Paul. It was a very sharing, we would want to know what was happening to you. and happening around you, and that you trusted us enough to go live to show us what was happening in such a tragic time. And
Yeah,
Paul says he's already subbed.
no shame in doing that.
That's
We
right, no shame.
need to ask people for help, and it's a very understandable situation. Definitely.
Absolutely.
I would like to plug my channel a little bit here because I always forget to plug my own channel.
You have to plug your own. That's right.
I'm actually, some people don't get too shocked now. I'm going to either just put it out tomorrow or I'm going to do a premiere somewhere around the 6 or 7 o'clock hour. I finally did the Grape Harvest video.
Oh,
So that is going to be out tomorrow. It's already done. I already got my thumbnail finished.
yay.
It's not uploaded, but it's downloaded and I've saved it into my hard drive. It's done. So
That's great.
that's going to be the first one I've had in the last month or more.
Oh
So
my gosh. Yeah.
please
Yeah.
go check it out. I think I should. It's only 12 minutes long, but it's an important video because it's a harvest video. So I think I'm going to make it a premiere, and I should probably do it. Let's see. Bar Run Forge goes on at 6:30, 5:30. I'm going to put it on at 5 o'clock tomorrow. 5 o'clock. Be there. I'm going to have a premiere.
Awesome. 5 o'clock tomorrow. That would be
Central.
Thursday.
Central.
It'll be 6 o'clock. It'll be 6 o'clock my time. Yeah.
Yep. Then that way, when you're done with mine, you can go over to Bar Run Forge.
There you go. Get that train rolling. Running down the tracks.
So let's see. Anybody putting up any good stuff?
Oh, sure. Everybody. Paul and Drew are teasing each other. Paul Honeyman and Drew Lenz are teasing each other like crazy in here, talking about restraining orders and all those things. And so, but I mean,
Oh, that's what I meant to say. And they're probably not even up, but maybe they'll watch the rerun. MT Homestead.
yeah.
Sorry that you're feeling so bad today and that you had to miss out on your lives. I know you have to feel bad, really bad, to miss your lives because you love your lives. You love Wednesday night. I know that. We all missed you.
That's right. And that flu, isn't it some kind of flu bug or something? That flu bug is really bad this year.
I guess people are getting it. Full Blown Country filled in that hour and kept it going and brought it right up to my live. So
that's good. And we appreciate that very much.
For doing that. And he had several guests on it, including Piggy's Piddles. And,
cool. What a name.
Piggy's Piddles and Back Road Freedom.
Okay.
Back Road Freedom was on it quite a bit in that hour that we're talking about. Yeah, they tried some others, but they couldn't, for some reason, it didn't work out. But go check that out if you didn't get to see it.
Yes. And also, be sure you've hit the like button. Check that.
Subscribe. And he likes his channel to grow organically. Well, go over there and grow it. Go over there and grow
it. Your like button.
He's got a fun channel. I love watching Pooch and Pretty on their lives because the way she gives side eye to him when he says stuff is just funny.
Oh my gracious!
What are you laughing at, 12 Stones?
Talking about that side eye, I bet you.
Yep, she does side eye a lot.
All right, so send prayers to MT Homestead. And hey, Treasured Hunters, Southern Blessed Homestead. Hey.
Are you home, 12 Stones, or are you still out at that concert?
Well, it's 11 o'clock here.
Yeah, but concerts can
You like my necklace? Thank you. My necklace is from my Auntie Peg. I've gotten more compliments on this necklace this holiday season. Excuse me. But She got it several years ago at a little boutique. Got several of us, and he is home now. He says,
Oh, cool.
in full blown country says, "Yeah, I got plenty of side eyes."
If you would like to chat 12 Stones, that would be good, but you don't have to. It's all good.
That's right.
12 Stones and I have been having quite a bit of fun talking about channels and how we should change our titles that we've, sometimes it's a good idea to go through all your videos and revise your titles.
Yes, I agree.
This is your thumbnail, because as you go along, you realize titles might be better suited for.
Absolutely. And I actually need to go back in that Dragonfly story and change the title of that. Although that was quite a popular video, because at that time I had just been introduced by a survivor, Sanctuary Lester, and Longhorn Lester. I met him at a class that we took out in Oklahoma at the end of August. And he was very kind and shouted me out. So that's probably where that popularity came from. So I brought another thing or two. Have you ever, are you into, if I could speak English, that would be really nice, herbs or any kind of teas or anything like that?
Nothing specific, but I'm sure there's other people that would be interested in hearing.
Well,
you've entertained me so far, so I'm sure that'll be fun.
Good. Well, I just brought my little jar that I have. Let's see if you can see it. This is goldenrod honey. And what we did, goldenrod only comes out really in the fall. It's already done its thing now. But goldenrod is good for allergies. A lot of people mistake goldenrod for ragweed, and they go, "Oh my gosh, I am so allergic to goldenrod." Well, it's not the goldenrod, it's the ragweed that looks like goldenrod. Because goldenrod holds the pollen on the inside of the flowers, where ragweed says, "Let me make you sneeze," kind of thing. So we go foraging around our neighborhood and so forth and get our goldenrod. I've got some hanging up on the back porch that is drying for tea. I make some goldenrod tea with it, but I also put it in a jar and cover it with honey. And then it's turned every day for about 2 months, maybe six to 8 weeks, something like that. This is going to be ready. Yeah, because I made it on October 10th, and it'll be ready on December 10th. And it's just a honey that, like, if you use it for your tea or your coffee or anything like that, all you have to do, spare the rod and spoil the child. Jesse, you're nuts. For goldenrod honey to be able to get the benefits, you just dip your spoon in it, and you only need like 3 drops at a time to be able to help you with your allergies and your lung health and kidney issues. You do need to do your own research. I'm not a doctor. It is all allegedly. And so look everything up yourself. But this has helped us. And it's also helped my husband more so than me. It hasn't helped me as much as him in his arthritis. So it's just a little something that we do here.
That's something a lot of people could probably use some help with.
Yeah, and he uses a goldenrod tincture, which is just goldenrod and vodka, actually, every single day. And now he's starting to use the goldenrod honey, and instead of, and he's getting younger instead of older. His joints don't hurt anymore. His knees don't hurt. All those kinds of things. It is a good elixir.
I think I'll bathe in that stuff then.
No, I tell you. Well, you don't want to OD on it, I can tell you. So
what's that?
You don't want to OD on it. It might give you some kidney issues if you have too much. But yeah, right.
Kidding. I think go out.
That would be something. Mm.
Sounds like a great elixir.
Yeah, you've never heard of that, Drew? It is. It's a wonderful thing. We make goldenrod tincture as well, and the tincture you just stuff a jar full of goldenrod as full as you can get it, and put at least 80 proof vodka, and not something crazy high in the jar, and then you keep turning that each day. My dad's rod wasn't golden, but it definitely kept us on the straight and narrow. You talk about your daddy beating you a lot now, Jesse. I don't know about them. I don't know about them boys.
Kidney. There goes your other kidney.
That's right. It would be nice not to hurt Little Ridge Farm, and especially if it's something that's natural. Um, you know, we have all those things here provided for us. We just need to know how to use them. And somebody, the chat just jumped there. Hi, all love the tincture and honey ideas. Yeah, I thought there was some secret to them, some magic potion or something. It's
Marion,
really easy.
she's probably been in here a while, but I just noticed her.
Good. Yeah, she said she loves the tincture and the honey ideas. It's not hard. You just turn them for a couple of months. Oh, Paul, I know. Bless your heart. I know it. That's for sure. Oh, vodka. I heard of that, Drew says.
I like vodka.
When I had a friend that came out, and, we're not going to consume it other than like by a drop at a time, unless, you may want something, but it's like aristocrat vodka, like the cheapest, really not wonderful vodka. And I had a friend that came out and said, Anne, I used to drink this in college, maybe in that PJ juice or whatever they called it. Well, it's not for drinking, it's for tinctures. She said, what is a tincture? I said, well, let me show you.
Okay. Avoid all methods if possible. Yeah.
Hey, Psalm 146. I'm glad you came in here. And Petite Jean River Homestead. Yeah, Psalm 146. That's my friend. I'm glad you're here. And Petite Jean River Homestead says vodka's hard to get here in Arkansas. I bet moonshine works as well. I bet it does. Only thing is, if you get grain alcohol, you'd have to add a little bit of water to it. It's like an 80-20 kind of basis. You have to add a little teeny bit of water so you don't toast yourself. Hey, Aunt Dilly, Psalm 146.
Where did you start with that Aunt Dilly stuff?
Aunt Dilly. Yeah, it's Aunt Dilly. My good friend Lydia from Best Yet Journey nicknamed me Aunt Dilly. She just said, because Dale, and then my granddaughter's name is Millie, and she nicknames everybody. And so she nicknamed me Aunt Dilly. And I wanted to put out like a little series of positive thoughts, or maybe a little advice from a senior, because I am definitely a senior. And I couldn't think of a name. Yeah, you're not. I couldn't think of a name. I couldn't think of anything. And then it came up of Aunt Dilly's Daily. And so that's worked really well. And I try to say little voices of encouragement and some life lessons of how you your perspective, if you get your mind in the right direction, if you concentrate on everything that's bad, then all you're going to do is see bad. But if you decide to see the good, even when you're up to the mud, up to your chin in the mud, you can still see some good. Then that's what your brain concentrates on, is the good. It's all about perspective and getting your mind right.
Yeah. And we all need to focus on that a little more.
Yeah, yeah. And so that's what we do really on Tuesdays. I have a live that I go every Tuesday at 11 o'clock Eastern. It's called Tuesday, and that's where we get to choose our attitude of the day, is how I started off. And I usually have some sort of a story or a verse or something that comes about of what we think about, what we're concentrating on for the day, how to get your mind in the right direction. Because we do have control over that, where we allow our minds to go. Perspective is everything, says Dirt Road Destiny.
Wow, Ann, this has been a lot of fun. I can't. That hour and 17 minutes has gone so fast. that was a good fun.
It was fun.
Thank you so very much for joining me this evening.
Oh my gracious, Brian. Thank you. It was such an honor. I mean, it's such an honor to be invited to be your guest tonight. And I really took that seriously, and I appreciate it greatly. Thank you.
It was an honor for me too.
Good.
So, everybody, I want you to go and check out Ann Dale's Homestead.
Yeah, and
if you're not subscribed to her already, you need to be, because she's fun.
I'm not
this all the time.
I do. I just don't you be talking like me now. Encore. Oh, thank you, Byron from 12 Stones Ranch. I really appreciate
it. Check out my channel. Remember, I got a premiere.
That's right.
I'm going to do it at 5 Central tomorrow.
That's right. Right.
And Little Ridge Farm. Give them all the love you got. I want everybody in this chat to go over there, and your challenge is to watch 10 videos straight through, all the commercials, everything. But if you got more, do it.
Yes. So what is the heart? Oh gosh. I'm not for everybody. Some people go, oh my gosh, she's just too sweet. I don't like her. So that's okay.
Well, someday when I'm having a live mic, you're going to have to come in again.
That would be wonderful.
Because that's the way I think I'm going to do it. Oh, that's another thing before we close.
Yes.
Next week, if I find somebody who's going to be a guest, I will do that. But if not, I will easily go and have a live mic, and I will get myself a co-host. There's a handful of you in mind, and I'll be talking to one of you if that's the case.
That's wonderful.
So next week, Wednesday night at 9 Central, just like always, and get the rest of them. We've got, let's see if I can do this without stuttering all.
Okay, you got it.
Okay, I'm going to say Possum Run Homestead at 5 o'clock Central. 3 Mississippi at 6 Central. Full Blown Country with Pretty and Pooch at 7 Central. Then we got Empty Homestead, the ones we all love, Mike and Terry. They're at 8 Central, and yours truly at 9.
Saved you for the thumbs up. Yay.
I got through it. I try to rehearse that, and I can't get through it most of the time.
You got it. Hey, you did a great job. It was a perfect job. Couldn't have done it any better.
So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Feel free to join me in any of my open lives that I have in the future, and we'll be talking to you later.
Will
And see
do.
you all
Thank
next
you,
week.
everyone. I love you all. Talk to you soon.
Good
Hope
night.
to see you soon. Bye bye now.
Have a great weekend. You can stay there, Ann.
Okay.